So what did people do before washing machines and laundromats? At one time, hundreds of thousands of Southern black women washed the overwhelming majority of clothes by hand. In the U.S., black women did 90% of the laundry. During slavery, black women were tasked with doing the laundry usually on Mondays for the plantation. After slavery, smart black women kept this going and turned it into a full-blown industry. You see, black women discovered they could turn their expertise into entrepreneurship since many white families, poor and well-to-do alike, didn't want to do their own laundry and relied on washerwomen to wash their clothing and household linen. So, these women took the skills that made them prized property and put them to work for themselves. First, they made sure not to do the laundry in the house of their clients, but in their own homes and on their own terms. They charged what they wanted and set their own schedules. And the work wasn't easy. These women made their own soap from a combination of lye, starch, and wheat bran, and used wash tubs made from beer barrels to wash clothes. They carried gallons of water from wells, pumps, or hydrants to wash, boil, and rinse the clothes. And that ain't it. After being washed, clothes were hung by hand and hung out to dry. Finally, clothing was ironed using heavy metal irons and carefully folded before being returned to the customer. So they washed the clothes, they dried it, they folded it, all the things. The work week typically began on a Monday and lasted until the last clean clothes were delivered on Saturday. So that's another part of the labor is washing, drying, ironing, and traveling to return the clothes back to the people. These women managed large loads of clothes without the benefit of technology other than a washboard and clothesline. Washerwomen had real independence. As they hung the clothes to dry, they could treasure the opportunity to work for themselves. In a capitalistic society, people tend to equate freedom to financial freedom only. But for the formerly enslaved, it was liberation enough just to be able to work for yourself. And to be able to charge what you wanted was the icing on the cake. Washerwomen even went on strike to demand better pay and better treatment because as hard as it was to do the laundry without technology that we have today, American society still considered it menial work. The Atlanta washerwomen strike is one of the most famous where washerwomen only made $4 to $8 a month. Sometimes their white clients wouldn't pay them at all. So in 1881, washerwomen in Atlanta staged the largest ever strike by African Americans, walking off the job for weeks until their demands and those of other service workers were met. They formed a union, the Washing Society, and demanded a consistent rate of $1 per dozen pounds of clothes. The strike was also strategically timed to coincide with Atlanta's hosting of the International Cotton Exposition. Knowing the city could not afford a major economic disruption, the Washing Society members went door to door, generating support from both black and white washerwomen. With the help of black ministers, they held a large meeting and gave speeches calling for others to join them. Within 3 weeks, the Washing Society grew from 20 to 3,000 strikers. And they won. So the next time you doing your laundry and you're loading clothes into that fancy washing machine and putting them into the dryer and leaving them unfolded for weeks at a time, remember the sacrifices of black women who at one point in history washed and dried and ironed the nation's clothes by hand.